Just start whenever.
Yep.
This is the Geekery Update with Alan and Brian. You are Alan.
And you're Brian.
Shang-Chi, the Legend of the Ten Rings,
Yeah.
has finished filming. Ladies and gentlemen, it's coming out July 9th, seemingly so far, July 9th, 2021. And there's not a lot known about the film. I know that it's been very quiet.
IMDb page on it.
Right.
It's very bare bones. It doesn't tell you anything. Like it tells you who's playing the Mandarin. It tells you who's playing Shang-Chi. But then it gives you just a couple more actors, and it doesn't have any characters attached.
Right.
Michelle Yeoh, I think her name is. She is listed as in it. Now, she was already in an MCU film, but it doesn't say if she's reprising that role. She was in the post-credit scene of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. She was one of the Ravagers. When they showed all the Ravager teams, she was one of them.
Right.
She was one of the original Ravagers, aka the Ravagers in the MCU are the original Guardians of the Galaxy,
with Sylvester Stallone. Simu Liu. I can't. That's Simuliu. He's the one playing Shang-Chi, and I'm just going to screen share. Don't judge me for picking this picture, but I just want people to know why he was selected to be Shang-Chi. This guy's going to have a major role. He is obviously in shape, but this is one of the futures of the MCU, ladies and gentlemen. Shang-Chi, this isn't a one-off. He isn't just doing a movie and we're going to forget about him. He will eventually, down the line, start popping up in the Avengers movies. This whole film is based around karate and martial arts. I really think when this movie ends, people are going to leave the movie theater and be saying things like, I have never seen a movie with the martial art fighting that good to look at.
Hopefully, I think this will be a lot of inspiration from Bruce Lee. I'm very big in Bruce Lee. Not so much of,
I've been picking up on that. You do like you some Bruce Lee.
Yes, but it's more so for his philosophies. He was very much into philosophy, and that's my big side of him. But and Bruce Lee put that into a lot of his movies.
Right.
Just a little TED talk right there.
Little TED talk.
Yeah. But yes, this will hopefully be like a Bruce Lee inspired movie. And as I said before, this will probably be like a Mortal Kombat style movie. Well, of course, we got the Mortal Kombat games, which is, very nostalgic. But then there's the movies there in the 90s that they made, which the movie was all about showing as many fighters as you can in the movie and going through, and then they're getting ready for this just big old tournament. Not necessarily we're going to take on this villain because he's bad or whatever. They're just going to get ready for this big old tournament. Like, I know that the main villain for this movie is supposed to be the real Mandarin, which
I'm going to share really quick. The actor playing the Mandarin is Tony Leung Chiu-Wei.
Okay.
I am so sorry for butchering these names, folks.
So yeah, the Mandarin, obviously in Iron Man 3 was not the real Mandarin, and then he was an actor that was hired for the real villain's ploy, and then named Trevor Slattery, and then everybody was mad about the whole twist, even though it was an interesting twist, but we're mad that we didn't. We were just made a fool because it's like Mandarin is Iron Man's greatest villain. That's like his Joker. And there we go. There's Ben Kingsley as the Trevor Slattery version of the Mandarin. But
yes, that is Ben Kingsley did a stupid amazing job.
Yes. But one of the complaints about his version, even before the movie came out, was that he's white and Mandarin is Asian. So that there's that to begin with, and then so when the whole plot twist there happened, everybody's like, what's going on here? So then they made up for it, but they still left you on hook when they did the Marvel one-shot All Hail the King. And it started off like this Norris is the character's last name. He was a reporter making a documentary about Trevor Slattery on his film career and his whole deal about playing the Mandarin and stuff. And then it made it look like he was making the documentary. But at the end of the one shot, he says, well, I'm not actually here to make a documentary. I'm actually part of the terrorist organization, the 10 Rings, which
was introduced in the first Iron Man.
Yes, in the first Iron Man, we had, because the Mandarin in the comics, his whole thing was he had 10 rings. Each ring had its own different power. The cartoon, the Iron Man cartoon in the 90s, they really played that up where he was going around collecting these rings. But anyways, so in the MCU, the very first movie, they did kind of a metaphor for that, where it wasn't actual literal 10 rings. They were a terrorist organization.
Mm-hmm.
And then so when we get to actual Mandarin in Iron Man 3, of course, one of the speculations was, oh, okay, he's the leader of this terrorist organization we introduced. And then say nothing about it at all. Nothing about the terrorist organization. And then so in All Hail the King, this reporter who actually turns out to be a member of the 10 Rings, he was like, I'm part of the terrorist organization, the 10 Rings, and the real Mandarin would like to speak with you. So we're like, yes. But this was still several years ago. After so many years, we're like, well, what happened with that?
It would have been 2013.
Okay, so
it's been 7 years.
7 years, and I mean, still, I mean, we've got the announcement now that they're picking up from that, but they picked up Shang-Chi. When does that come out?
July 9th, 2021, next year.
So 8 years later, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings will finally pick up from that. We'll have
8 years and 2 months if you want to get exact.
All right. But it'll pick up from that. The real Mandarin will be the actual villain. The subtitles, The Legend of the Ten Rings. So hopefully we'll get a whole thing about connecting from Iron Man 1, about that terrorist organization and how they came into power. What's Mandarin's thing about it? How did he rise to power and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
While surrounding this whole tournament movie.
Yes. Yeah, and what's fun, it's interesting too, because there's been a lot of speculation about it, that it's going to be taking place, because Marvel likes to do this a lot. They like to have movies that don't take place in the current timeline.
Jump around.
Yeah, jump. Anyway, this is supposed to take place between, which is, I find this super fascinating, between Infinity War and Endgame.
Okay, in between the snap. You know, one thing I'm really excited about Shang-Chi that I hope the rumor comes true is we're going to finally get Fin Fang Foom. Big old green dragon. And he was also another villain they had in the Iron Man cartoon from the 90s.
Just so everyone can see him.
There we go.
That's a real old sweet it would be to have a dragon in the MCU. Marvel's like, we've done the time travel. We've erased half the universe. Nobody's fallen off our bandwagon. We just keep getting more as time goes on. Let's throw a dragon into the mix.
Yeah, let's throw a big old giant talking dragon.